I have to set up something like this at home because I could get used to this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Oh My Growth. My name is Mindy. Today, I am at something called European Influencer Academy. So I was invited here, which was really exciting, to basically participate in workshops, master classes, and have discussions about sustainable influencing in today's society and talk about that kind of stuff. When I was invited, I was like, okay, imposter syndrome because I'm not an influencer. But being here and listening to the other people and stuff, I've started realizing, you know what? At this point, because of the socials growing and stuff, I do have an impact. That's kind of crazy to say. But my imposter syndrome has really lessened because I've been so validated here and I've started viewing influencing and content creation as a job, proper job. This is something I've always wanted to do, both podcasting and focusing on creation in general and being creative and having the opportunity to be here and listen to the other influencers that are here and everything. They do have more experience than I do, but it is really nice to meet them and get to hear about their experiences. So that's what I'm up to. And today I'm borrowing their studio. So I'm in a gigantinormous room right now, recording this by myself, and it's really cool. There were a bunch of chairs as well I could choose from, but I don't know, I kind of vibed with this one. So this is the one I chose. Today I decided to do a podcast episode about something that I struggle with myself. What's new? Usually the episodes I do are about me struggling with something and then wanting to share what I know about it. And I kind of talked about this in the episode about boundaries, but I want to dive more into a specific thing that can be really difficult to deal with, and that is the feeling of disappointing people in your life. I'm noticing that my forehead is a little bit shiny, but I don't really know how to fix that, actually. Whatever. Glass skin. That's what I'm gonna call it. It makes me feel better about it because I think it might just be me being a little sweaty. I struggle with the feeling of disappointing people in my life, especially people who I love and care for. But the truth is that people pleasing or over explaining yourself can actually feel really exhausting and really draining. There can sometimes be a social pressure that you have on yourself or expectation to fix everything all the time, especially if someone's upset with you. And I mean, there is the stigma about the oldest kid in the family struggling with this as well. I am the oldest, so I am the stereotype. But I do struggle with the feeling of having to fix things all the time or be the one that's put together. But I want to talk about what it means to let people down and why that's actually something that is healthy. We will start with why we feel like we need to fix everyone else's disappointment. This kind of stems from a fear of abandonment or a fear of rejection, and this idea that our value depends on other people and other people's perception of us. In some cases, maybe people pleasing was a survival thing for you when you were younger. Maybe you grew up in a space where you did need to take a lot of responsibility and you did need to be put together. So people pleasing kind of just became a habit or second nature to you. And we fear that if we go against this or we happen to disappoint someone, that they're gonna abandon us or reject us or worse, even. I don't know. There are pretty bad situations you can find yourself in life. And so you just feel like you need to change yourself in order to fit into everyone else's narrative and what they need from you. But if you are someone who often feels this way, you're probably also someone who doesn't get so angry if someone disappoints you because then you still feel the need to fix everything for that person. If someone else lets you down, someone else disappoints you, people who have these people-pleasing tendencies, they instead think, oh my God, how do I fix this? I don't want them to feel embarrassed. I don't want them to feel like a failure. How do I fix this for them? So essentially, you're just always micromanaging life, yourself, other people, and managing other people's feelings. This can take a massive emotional toll on you. And we're not talking short term. We're talking long-term effects. If this becomes a habit, you're in for a treat, and it's not a nice treat. I feel like I've been recovering from people pleasing for a really long time, but I've made the most progress within the last like year and a half. Because somewhere along the lines, I kind of realized and recognized that it's not my job to fix other people. It's not my job to change my opinions to fit someone else's opinions. It's not my job to please everyone, especially not if that means that I'm not pleasing myself. I don't mean it sexually. That sounded a little bit weird. Especially if that means me putting myself last. But what happens when you decide suddenly, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that. What happens when you stop trying to fix it all the time? The truth is, it's going to feel really weird. It's going to feel really uncomfortable at first. You're going to feel like you're not yourself suddenly. More so, other people are also going to get disappointed. Not everyone, but some people will respond to you changing like that negatively because suddenly you're acting outside of their comfort zone too. And this is something I have talked about in previous episodes, but this is a very common and very natural, like human experience to have. The problem is when you let that overtake your actions, like I've been in situations where people around me maybe have grown or changed for the better, and it makes me feel a little taken aback because, well, it's a new version of them that I have to get to know. And that can also be really uncomfortable. So some people might get disappointed, but good people and people who support you, they're not going to let that stop them from supporting you. Good friends, good partners, family members as well, they respect when you learn how to disappoint sometimes and you learn how to not people please. If someone gets disappointed, it's really important to note that that is their choice. It's their choice to react that way. It is their choice to feel that way. It's not your responsibility. Boundaries are something that strengthen you. You protect your energy, you protect your self-worth, and you also invite more authentic relationships and friendships into your life. The ones where like you don't have to perform or explain yourself all the time. The ones where you can just be yourself and be really comfortable in that. This is something I actually thought didn't exist at one point. Like I felt like I was a constant disappointment for a chunk of my life for different reasons. But recently I've realized, like, you know what? Maybe I'm not a really, really difficult person. Maybe I'm not super complicated as a person. Maybe I was just in situations that made me that way. Maybe I was in situations that made me feel that way about myself because it wasn't a compatible situation or environment for me as a person. Once you show up as yourself, and you were also more picky about who gets to be exposed to that version of you, the more authentic your environment is going to feel. But yes, some people are going to respond negatively. How can we start? How do we start letting people be disappointed if we are so used to pleasing and shaping and shifting for other people's comfort? I'm going to go through 5 points that I think are important to mention. Of course, there's more, but these are the 5 that popped into my head for this episode. The first one, and this one is kind of hard to do in the beginning, but it is recognizing when you're apologizing or explaining yourself to make someone feel good and not because you actually have to do that. There are so many situations where I have apologized or over-explained myself and my feelings and where I'm coming from when I shouldn't have to do that. Sometimes it's enough to just be or have an opinion and not have to apologize for it. But there are people in your life that you will come across that make you feel like you do need to apologize and explain. What's important is understanding and recognizing when you're just doing that for their benefit and not for your own. Because if you're only doing it for them, there's probably no need for you to actually apologize. There's probably no need for you to actually over explain yourself. It's probably just because from their perspective, you're in the wrong. And that goes into point 2. A good practice is learning how to say something like, I hear you, but I'm not going to change that. It's important to acknowledge people, right? Like, all opinions are opinions. If I do something that someone doesn't like and they tell me they don't like it, but I don't agree, I don't have to apologize for my action. I could simply say, I see you, but I'm not going to change how I acted here. That's a really respectful way of expressing yourself in a scenario like that. You're acknowledging them by saying, I hear you, I see you, I feel you, something like that. But you're also letting them know gently that, like, I'm not willing to change that though, because for me, I'm doing the right thing. The third thing, being more comfortable with space and with silence. So often we rush to fix things as soon as there's space or silence. Like if you are someone who's a recovering people pleaser, or you struggle setting boundaries, or you struggle with disappointing other people, you probably rush to fix things as soon as there's like silence or a little bit of an argument or tension or whatever. Your body freaks out. It's like, oh my God, goes into overdrive. How do I fix this? What do I say? What can I do? But that's exactly what we don't want to be doing. Also, acting on instinct there isn't going to like benefit the situation because there's no reflection being done. It's just acting. The reflection is the important part because that's when we go back to thinking, okay, is this a scenario where I do need to apologize? Is this a scenario where I need to explain myself better? Or do we just have different opinions here? That's a reflection that needs to be made if you're in that kind of situation. And it's normal to disappoint people sometimes, like you are going to disappoint people. The fourth thing is reminding yourself, you will never be able to control how other people feel. You'll never be able to do that. But what you can control is how you act and how you respond. You can always choose how to act and how to respond to any given situation, to any person in your life. You can't control what they do, though. You can't control how they feel. You can't control what they think. You can't control what they say. You can't control if they want to stay in your life or leave your life. That's outside of your control. There's no way for you to do anything about it, so you might as well not put all of your energy into doing that. That is micromanagement. Micromanagement is not cute. It's not cute for you. It's not cute for the people around you. I learned that the hard way because I have a tendency of micromanaging situations. But nowadays, I have people in my surroundings who gently let me know if I'm doing that. It's not like a fight or flight kind of scenario anymore where I'm afraid of saying what I think. Like, it's more, I also have to acknowledge that this is something I struggle with and I need to learn from. And I remind myself all the time that I can't control these things, but I can control myself. And while controlling myself, I choose to embrace silence sometimes. I choose to say that I hear people, but that maybe I don't want to change that part of myself. And I choose to reflect on if I need to apologize or explain. Those are things I do. And how someone responds to that afterwards, it's outside of my control. And so it's really none of my business. The fifth thing, this is probably the most difficult one, to be honest, but it's having self-compassion. It's okay to upset someone. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't always mean you're even wrong. It's okay if someone's upset. It sucks. It's a really difficult feeling, especially if you struggle with it, but it's okay. Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna agree with you. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It is impossible, and it is also unhealthy to think that you need to make everyone like you. That's simply not going to happen. If you think about it, do you like every single person you have ever encountered? Do you click with every single person you've ever spoken to? No, you don't. And people feel the same way about you, and that's fine. You don't have to make everyone happy. You don't have to make everyone like you. Your focus is your relationship with yourself first and foremost. That is the most important relationship you are ever going to build. So if you need to put yourself in the back seat in order to make someone else happy or make them like you, that is not a sacrifice that is worth making. I'm gonna be honest with you. You might lose people. You might. But true friends, good relationships, they accept you with your boundaries. This is your way to weed out the people that you don't want in your life anyway. It's not a bad thing. If you lose someone because you set a boundary, if you lose someone because you disappoint them, if you lose someone because of that, that person is not meant to be in your life. Like I said in the past episode, not everyone is meant to grow with you. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life. That is okay. Like, this is just how it goes. But every time you lose a person or you lose a situation or lose something, you are also making space to gain something new. You are making room for things that are going to work for you, that are going to be compatible with you as a person, that are going to give you a situation where you can thrive. And that is everything. That's what we want at the end of the day. So don't be afraid to lose things because you might actually be making space for something better. I can speak from personal experience here because there are so many situations where I've made these exact mistakes and found myself in even worse situations because of it. For the longest time, I thoroughly believed that when something went wrong, I had to change, I had to fix it, I had to be someone that I'm not. And when I did that, like over time, I became a different version of myself that frankly I didn't like. Like I look back on that girl and I'm like, who is she? Who is that? Like I don't even know her. And when you do that and people get used to it, that becomes the new standard for you as a person. So when you do anything outside of it, like you're just digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. I did not recognize myself. It's taken a year for me to get to know myself again, set boundaries with myself, with other people, learn what I like, what I don't like, what I want to accept, who I want to be, how I want to show up. And like this is my life. Everyone's their own main character, but I think for so long I saw myself as a supporting character in my own story. I mean, I had good intentions, but I understand why people didn't respect me. It's actually not rocket science. Like, I get why they didn't completely respect me because I wasn't respecting myself. Setting boundaries, putting yourself first, is respecting yourself. The more you respect yourself, the more others will respect you too. You set the standard for how other people treat you based on how you treat yourself. Letting people be disappointed sometimes is an act of self-love, self-care, and self-respect. And of course, it's a process and it can take time. You can expect to be really uncomfortable sometimes, but you are not responsible for other people's feelings or their actions. You're responsible for yourself. And if that means disappointing people, if that means making other people uncomfortable to make yourself feel seen, yourself feel heard, then that is a sacrifice you're gonna have to make. And the right people, they're gonna be there. You'll be surprised. So that was my studio session. Like I said, I could get used to this. This is really nice. But for now, I want to wish you a good day, morning, evening, or night, wherever you're at in the world, and I will see you next time.